Hello and welcome. Today, we're going to tackle one of the most powerful and, let's be honest, sometimes tricky structures in the English language, the conditional sentence. Imagine being able to express any possibility, explore any alternative, or perfectly word any regret. Well, that's exactly what mastering conditionals allows you to do. Getting this right is a huge leap towards true fluency.
So, here's how we're going to break it all down. We'll kick things off with the absolute fundamentals. Then, we'll build up through the real and hypothetical conditionals, and from there, we'll push into some seriously advanced territory with mixed conditionals and formal inversion. And of course, we'll wrap it all up with a little quiz to test your new skills. You know, every complex structure has to be built on a solid foundation. So before we jump into all the different types, let's make sure we've got the essential architecture locked down, the basic blueprint that every single conditional sentence follows. Okay, so at its very heart, every conditional sentence does one simple thing. It links a condition to a result. You've got the if clause, which sets up the scenario, the what if, and then you have the main clause, which tells you the consequence, the what then. This simple cause and effect relationship is really the engine that drives all logic and possibility in English. Let's start with situations that are firmly grounded in reality. These first two conditionals, the zero and the first, deal with things that are either always true or are very, very likely to happen. You can think of these as the conditionals of the real world. Now, this slide shows a really crucial distinction. On one side, you have the zero conditional. This is for absolute certainties, like scientific facts. If you heat ice, it melts. Notice it's present simple in both parts of the sentence because that connection is timeless. But on the other side, the first conditional looks toward the future. It deals with real, tangible possibilities. And here the structure shifts. You still use present simple for the condition, but the outcome uses will to point to what's likely to happen. But here's a pro tip. Don't think you're stuck with just using will in the first conditional. It's actually super flexible. By swapping in other modal verbs, you can add all sorts of nuance. For example, use can to talk about permission or ability. Use might or may when you want to dial down the certainty of that outcome. And of course, should is perfect for giving advice based on a likely condition. All right, now we're going to move away from the real world and step into the abstract. We are officially leaving what's possible behind us and entering the realm of imagination. This is how we talk about unreal presents and alternate versions of the past. This slide shows something really fascinating. Look closely at the grammar. We're using past tenses, but we're not actually talking about the past. We're using them to signal a distance from reality. The second conditional uses the past simple to create a hypothetical present or future. If I had money. I don't. The third conditional uses the past perfect to go back in time and imagine a different past, which makes it the perfect structure for expressing regret. I'm sure you've heard this phrase a million times. It's the classic way to give advice. Now, the key grammatical point here is using were for all subjects. I, he, she, you, all of them. This is a little leftover piece of the English subjunctive mood. Now, you might hear people say if I was you in casual chat, but for formal correct English, were is the word that signals this is a purely hypothetical, contrary to fact situation. And here it is. This is the magic of conditionals on one slide. Just look at how a single change in verb tense completely transforms the meaning. If I have enough money, that's a realistic plan. You might actually go and buy those shoes later today. But if you just shift have to had, if I had enough money, suddenly we've gone from a plan to a daydream. It's no longer a real possibility, it's a wish. That right there is the power of the unreal conditional.
Okay, this is where things get really fun. For truly advanced English, we can actually start to bend time a little. Mixed conditionals let us combine different structures to connect different time frames, all within a single powerful sentence.
This is such a useful tool for sophisticated conversations. The most common type, like you see here, combines a third conditional if clause with a second conditional result clause. This lets you connect an unreal past action, if I had taken that job, to an unreal present result. I would be the manager now. It is the perfect way to talk about reflection and consequence. Now for our final advanced technique, and this one is all about style. In formal and literary English, there's a really cool way to make your conditional sentences sound more elegant, more sophisticated, and it's by getting rid of the word if completely. The process is called inversion, and it's really just a simple rearrangement. As you can see, for the first conditional, you swap if for should.
For the second, you start with were, and for the third conditional, you kick it off with had. In every single case, the if disappears and the subject and the helper verb switch places. And that's what creates that distinctly formal tone. So look at these two sentences. The meaning is absolutely identical. The only thing that changes is the tone. The inverted structure on the right, it just carries this formal, almost literary weight to it. This is a fantastic tool to have in your back pocket to really elevate your academic or professional writing.
All right, that's enough theory for now. We've gone through the most advanced conditional structures. So let's see how you do. It's time to put your understanding to the test. Okay, for our first one, look very closely at the sentence structure. The big clue here is to be appointed. That to plus the infinitive verb. So, which of our inversion words is used to signal a hypothetical future event, often with this exact structure? And the answer is C, were. This is a textbook inverted second conditional. That structure, were plus subject plus to plus infinitive, is a very formal way to really emphasize that this future event is purely hypothetical and probably not going to happen. For this next one, the key is hiding in the result clause, I would have failed. That phrase right there tells you that we're talking about a past regret. So, how do you create a negative inverted conditional that deals with the past?
That's exactly right. The answer is had. Had you not been is simply the formal inverted way of saying if you hadn't been. It's a perfect negative inverted third conditional. Well done.
All right, for our last question, you need to pay very close attention to the time markers. The if clause, if he were a more careful person, is about his character right now, in the present. But the result is about a specific mistake that happened yesterday, in the past. What kind of structure do you need here?
Excellent. The correct answer is B, wouldn't have made. This is a classic mixed conditional. We have an unreal present condition about his character. That's the second conditional part. But the result, the mistake, is in the unreal past. So we have to use the third conditional structure in that main clause.
So when it all comes down to it, the most important thing to remember is that these aren't just a bunch of abstract grammar rules. They are the essential tools that English gives us to express our most complex human thoughts, to wonder what if, to reflect on what could have been, and to imagine completely different futures.
And to leave you with one final thought, I want you to consider this question. It's a classic mixed conditional, connecting a choice in your past to your reality right now. It's a really powerful question to reflect on, and the great news is you now have the precise grammatical tools to articulate those reflections perfectly. Thank you so much for joining me today.